When it comes to El Pandillo, this is a distillery that we have visited dozens of times and we have seen it grow and change. We even created the official brand course for their iconic house brand, the G4. We did several interviews with Felipe Camarena, the owner, third generation tequilero, who custom built the distillery from ground zero, creating unique engineering solutions like Felipenstein and Igor, while minimizing his energy bill and using water as the distinguishing factor between his tequila expressions. In this episode, we do an official tour of the distillery with our friend Eddie, and this time we actually document the visit. First things first, we have to do a reservation. While there are a few distilleries where you can just simply show up, a proper reservation for El Pandillo is necessary. According to our guide Eddie, a reservation at least a few weeks before actually coming down is recommended, and the earlier you do it, the better. If you're visiting from abroad, reserving even months before the visit can be a wise choice. Fortunately, we were able to join a group of 2 people on short notice so we could do an authentic tour of the distillery. And can I tell you the best part? The experience is free of charge. Yes, free of charge, and not just for us or other industry members. It has no charge at all to anyone visiting. While years ago, especially before COVID, most craft distilleries were free of charge, these days there are less and less distilleries offering a free visit. Of course, distilleries are aware that even just by showing up, you probably incurred a lot of costs already, and I like it as a way of appreciation of you coming to visit, especially since G4 is really so popular that people would definitely be willing to pay a fee. If you want to arrange a tour, you can reach out to G4 via social media and they just set you up. So how did we get to El Pandillo? The distillery is about a 2 hours ride from Guadalajara Airport, where you're most likely to arrive, and a very short distance from Arandas or Jesus Maria. A car is usually recommended, but you can hire a professional driver to take you around or even get a taxi. If you use GPS properly, you can avoid taking the wrong turn, as apparently there is an El Pandillo ranch selling Angus-style meat with a turn right sign. We already took the wrong turn twice. A good GPS will help you avoid this issue. The distillery itself offers a very unique signature scenery. As you enter the gate, you will already see the famous fountain that is used to naturally cool down the water. And on your right, you will be able to see and take photos with the famous historic Taona stone. After a quick check from the gatekeeper, we were let in. We were greeted by Eddie at the main entrance and then went straight to the famous wall part with the painting next to the fountain, where we learned about the importance of the water in the distillery. Every brand made in the distillery uses a slightly different water combination of rainwater, spring water, and well water. Then we went to see the hornos, or in English, brick ovens. Eddie explained how El Pandillo is cooking or hydrolyzing the agaves, and then we were able to not just smell the cooked agaves all around, but take a bite of them too. Yummy! The cooked agaves at El Pandillo are delicious. And well, we all know that if you have great ingredients, you are set up for a great product. The next part of the journey was the famous Felipenstein. It is a very unique mechanical rolling press made from scrap material, recycling of broken parts of different machinery. In my opinion, it isn't quite Taona, as it works in a very different way. A Taona goes over the agave fibers with its full weight, applying large amounts of pressure, while this machine is carefully hung or suspended, which creates a uniquely gentle pressure on the agave. This creates a very unique flavor profile. Then we had a chat about the wooden fermentation tank. Those fermentation tanks are not barrels for aging, but they're the vessels in which the agave juice ferments, and the wooden environment gives it a different flavor. The G4 Madera tequila is fermented in them. We then checked out the other fermentation tanks. If you have been in a distillery years ago, you will notice just how the distillery grew. They have lots of fermentation tanks. Here, Eddie made us do a little experiment. Put the hands above the tanks. What do you feel? Heat coming from the juice. Very interesting. Smelling a beerish juice can be a bit overwhelming if you lean in too much. Well, at least that is what my wife Andy did. From the fermentation tanks above, we could see the distillation process, and it was interesting to see everything from above, and we could get a glimpse of what is inside of a condensation tanks. Then we paid a visit to the barrel room. Ed explained to us that the new barrel room will be ready soon, so we might be back to pay another visit in a few months to check them out. After the barrels, we went to see how the packaging is done. Most distilleries have reservations about showing you the packaging, but if you're interested in the process, El Pandillo is probably one of the best places where you can observe it. Such a nice atmosphere here too. After the packaging part, we went to the tasting room. Despite being a free experience, the distillery truly wanted us, the guests, to get a great experience. We were served 8 different tequilas. The tasting room is quite a new addition to the distillery. If you were here years and years ago, you may remember that before we used to go to the lab to taste some tequilas in a very chilled, relaxed way. But now they have a very fancy and big tasting room with a nice painting in the back. And having the Christmas season, they even had a Christmas tree in there too, so we were absolutely in the mood. Before our tongue touched any tequila, we got some handy instructions from Eddie about the smell and the tiers of tequila, or legs if you are married, as the Mexicans say.
Because the head is highly concentrated alcohol, it's more oil, it's more agave flavor, and that's what you can see here, what they call the tequila legs if you're single, but nobody is here, so tequila tears. You have it here. The tears of joy. Exactly. Okay, so now we make a bigger sip. Leave it on your mouth, 2-3 seconds, and then swallow, please.
We tried a raw, pure distillate to get started that showcased the house's base flavor. It was very strong but rich in agave. Then we tried the classic G4 Blanco, which is the flagship of the house. Being the best-selling expression, being a 40% ABV tequila and priced fairly, no wonder that it may be the best-selling craft tequila in the world. It could be debated, but there's a good reason or argument to support it. Then we tried Volans Blanco, and Eddie explained to us kindly that every brand the distillery has a contract with is partially owned by the distillery. Though, as the lineup suggested, the house brand of the family that is 100% owned by them is G4. Then came the Reposado of the same G4 line, which is getting more and more popular. I didn't enjoy the previous Reposados of G4 as much. I used to find it somewhat uninteresting compared to the Blanco, but this one I particularly enjoyed. It had some nice tropical touch to it, and the flavor profile that managed to make the flavor more interesting. We tried G4 Añejo too, which is a hard-to-find expression on the market. I enjoy this one too, but I prefer the Reposado for its freshness. I can see that whiskey guys especially would have a great time with this Añejo. Then there were 2 retro bottles with a special process. I was not a fan of these. To me, it had a little bit of a thinner body than what I personally enjoy. However, I can see these to be a massive hit in the US market, and for people, cleaner expressions, starting out with artisanal style tequila. And finally, the Madera. It was a perfect closing piece of the experience. It has the body, the strength. Overall, it is a great Blanco tequila I personally enjoy. Though the distillery is still a fairly small, family-owned one, they do have a nice gift shop where you can buy special branded baseball hats and other accessories. Particularly, this shop is a great place to find a few leftover special editions, and they had in stock the añejo tequila and several other expressions that may not be available in your region. Overall experience, what can I say? I'm heavily biased. We're blessed to have a great relationship with the distillery. Ed is a good friend of ours, and he's a great, passionate guide. The distillery is very unique. They make excellent tequila, and I think if you want to discover how one of the world's most popular craft tequila is made, and you don't mind coming all the way to Los Altos to discover it, I would definitely recommend you to pay a visit.